Next step is to manage the session cookies with FastAPI. We're using Shiny on the front end and FastAPI on the back end. We have different steps for security here. You have the basic security, which is just the basic burger with no cheese. We're on the second type of security model where we've added cheese here. And in the future, we can have different types of clients with this double cheeseburger here or the full meal, which is going to store it in an SQL database. In the previous lesson, we were using bcrypt with the secrets shadow passwords on the FastAPI server portion. And we have an endpoint to verify if the username and password that's sent to FastAPI, ideally using the HTTPS encrypted session, would be the same hashed password that's in the shadow secrets. So now we're going to issue a session cookie after the login and then check to see if the user is already logged in. The objective being that you log in once here and subsequent times for the duration of that session, you don't have to log in again. What we want is for the user to send the username and password once using the Shiny login form. The API checks bcrypt, which is the hashed passwords. It's okay. And then the API sends a signed cookie. So then the client can send the cookie over to a protected endpoint, such as API/me, and then you can get the protected content, such as a coupon. So the browser could hold the cookie, but in our model, because we're using Shiny, and Shiny has a server, we're running a Python package called HTTPX on the Shiny server, and the cookie will live in the Shiny server HTTPX cookie jar, and it's not going to be in the actual browser. So the cookie is not going to hold the plaintext password, and it's not going to have the bcrypt hash. At step 1 here, we have a username password login form, and the person will submit the username and password using the browser. At step 2, it's going to hit the post. This is the API endpoint auth login. Post is the type of HTTP request with a payload. And this happens once per client session. So if you have multiple tabs open, it's going to be, you have to log in multiple times. So this HTTPX client is part of the Shiny server. In step 3, it's going to log in without the cookie to the FastAPI endpoint. I'm going to check it and set the cookie session. In step 5, it's going to save the session cookie. For additional security, we're going to save the API cookie in the Shiny jar and not the browser. So in step 6, you go to the protected content, which we're going to protect with the FastAPI endpoint. It's going to look up the session. In step 8, it sends the cookie session value. And in step 9, you'll get the endpoint with the cookie header. Okay, I'm going to use python.env. This is so I don't have to keep managing the environmental variables during development. So I'm going to create a file called .env here. And in the .env, we'll add the secrets. So before I forget, we'll add it to .getignore. environment variables for testing and development. So we will need the API session secret. And we're going to set it to, okay, so we'll use a longer set of random characters. Use 32. I'm going to grab this random string here. Then we'll have it here in our .env. And we'll load the environmental variables from the file. Import OS. And we'll use Starlette middleware sessions. We're going to import the session middleware so we can manage the browser session. All right, so under the app, this is the FastAPI app that we just instantiated. We're going to add the middleware. Just built into FastAPI. And so we'll have the session middleware. We'll have the secret key, which will be the os.environment. So it should grab it from the .env Python. We'll set the session cookie to session. We'll set the expiration age. It's a number, but we'll use 8 hours. And temporarily for development, we are going to disable HTTPS only. You should enable this. Okay, to handle the login, add the depends HTTP exception, request, response, and then from FastAPI security, we'll import the auth2 request form. So right now we have these two routes, one of which is a debug route. But we want to add the route to actually log in. And this will receive the request. The form, which will be auth2 password request form. And it'll return a response. So we already have the verify that we're importing from the authDB. Right there. So we're just using this method within the main portion of FastAPI to handle the verification. So we have this form there. And if it's not verified, then we'll raise the HTTP exception with a status code of 401. If it is valid, then we will request a session. User form.username. And then we'll return the response with status code is 204. Okay, the Starlette middleware appears to be wanting to import It's Dangerous, so I'm going to add it. Okay, we have unicorn, UVcorn started. Right, so I'm going to open up another shell here and let's test the endpoint with curl. HTTP, not HTTPS, because we don't have it locally. And the health is working out here. We have the status OK. I'm going to make another folder here. And this, again, you probably don't want to put into GitHub. But it's just easier to store it like this. We'll create a So it's going to create the temp cookies. And the username is Alice. And the password in this case is secret. And we'll use the grant type equals password. So this clear text thing, secret, is the actual password. Okay, so I have FastAPI running on one terminal here. And we have our, now we have our curl script. So since I'm on Linux, I'm going to do bash and have it in secret. Login test. Port 8000. I have the route on auth login. So we'll try that first. Auth login. Save it. And we'll run the script. Okay, now when we run the script, we have the set cookie. It has the session ID and the path here. HTTP only. It has the max age and the same site lax. And this /c here says to write to temp cookies. So we will see if it's there. Oh, and it's there. Okay. Okay, so right now we have the login. We don't have a log out, and we don't have the protected routes, and we'll cover that in the next lesson.